AIDS is basically the acquired immune deficiency syndrome that we usually talk about, and that basically occurs after a patient has contracted HIV, that is the human immune deficiency virus over here. So what is most critical over here when you have basically diagnosed a person to have contracted this HIV is the CD4 count levels that should be monitored in such patients. A close follow-up is required in such patients. Having the CD4 counts between 400 to 500 basically indicates that the patient has an early contraction of the HIV or the human immune deficiency virus in his blood. CD4 levels are again very important because these are the indicators for the immune system of the person or the defense mechanisms that are present in the bodily functions of the person who are going to basically fight off the infections in this person. If you have these low or the critical levels of the CD4 counts, that is basically less than 200, the person has acquired this immune deficiency syndrome or has this acquired immune deficiency syndrome clinically presentable in these patients, then one should know what is the typical signs and symptoms that are to be observed in these patients. Usually these patients will come up to you in the outpatient departments, and the presenting complaints will be the recurrent presentations of infections in these patients. The patients will give you a history that he has basically become more immune, more vulnerable to the development of infections in his surroundings. He or she is of the thought that his immune system is not working in a proper manner. So that is basically the highlight over there. And after that, obviously, the lab investigations will clarify the situation in a more accurate manner or in a more accurate way in these patients. Genetic polymorphs, a lot of research is basically being carried out on this topic of the genetic polymorphs in these situations. The key points of considerations that we should take into account are again very important over here. And one should consider how can we relate to this genetic polymorphism in these patients, and how is it basically making the person more prone to the development of AIDS, or making him or her less prone to the development of this immune deficiency syndrome. So this is what we'll be discussing over here, and how is it going to obviously affect the AIDS symptomatology in these patients. Then the CCR5, the role of CCR5 in these patients is again very critical out here. So we'll be discussing that even over here. In this third section, and how is it basically relatable to the development of the AIDS symptoms is also quite critical over here. So over here, you can see that there are almost 25.5 million people living with HIV in the sub-Saharan African, accounting for the almost 70% of the people living with HIV worldwide. So it is the most prevalent continent over here. That is where the prevalence rates of the HIV infections is at the highest over here. 1.3 million people have newly infected with HIV in the sub-Saharan Africa in 2015. So these criterias, or this was basically done or upon a survey which was carried out in 2015. Of the 2.8 million people living with HIV aged 15 to 24 year old, 56% are women. So women are more vulnerable or culpable over here. Progress has been made in the fight against HIV. The number of HIV related deaths basically fell up to 45% between 2005 and 2015. So a lot of work is being carried out to consider the awareness that is being created in the people where this disease is most prevalent. The spread of infection can be prevented after you have the complete awareness regarding this virus and regarding the spread of infection of this acquired immune deficiency syndrome in these patients over here. So roughly between 200 and 500 CD4 counts are present in these patients, and then the mild symptomatologies are quite frequent in these patients, where we have the CD4 counts between the levels of 200 and 500 in these patients. Usually they'll have the milder form of the clinical presentations. Before AIDS defining this condition, this is basically the before the AIDS has developed, or the before the person has the full-fledged or the full-blown AIDS. That is where the CD4 levels basically drops down below the level of 200 per cubic millimeters in these patients. The key points of considerations over here are the lower CD4 levels generally found later in the disease, but HIV-1 evolution and chemokine receptor genotype implication for the AIDS progression is again very important over here. So considering this chemokine receptor genotype implication, again, I would like to emphasize that the genetic polymorphism is very important, and it is basically making the person more prone or making the person less prone to the development of this acquired immune deficiency syndrome after the contraction of the HIV. The genetic polymorphs that we should consider are the chemokine receptor genes. That basically includes the CCR5, then we have CCR2, then we have CXCR4 in these patients as well. They are closely associated with AIDS. The presence of this chemokine receptor gene, CCR5, CCR2, CXCR4, is basically making the person more prone to the development of AIDS. It's closely associated with the development of AIDS, the chemoreceptors with CD4 for HIV. So these are the core receptors even for the with the CD4 for the HIV-1 infections. The mutations confer the protection against the HIV-1 infection, and then we have the slow progression of the disease that is also recorded along with this genetic polymorphism that is associated or that is seen in these patients who have contracted HIV and then they have developed this acute immune deficiency syndrome in these patients. So talking about the CCR5, the absence of CCR5 in 1% of the Caucasians is very strongly protecting against the HIV-1 transmission even in these patients. The 20 to 30% of the patients who remain AIDS-free for more than 16 years, the mutations in these receptors is basically noted down in these patients as well. So it is basically a protective factor that is seen in these patients. That is basically the absence of CCR5 is making the person or protective, or it is basically strongly protecting the person, and vice versa. If you have these, if there is a presence of the CCR5, then it is basically a negative line against the after you have contracted the HIV or after you have the HIV infection in your blood. The protective mutations, that is delta 32 CCR5, and is not present in Africans or Asians. So this is basically this is the reason why why this disease is more prevalent towards the Africans or Asians, is because they do not have this delta 32 CCR5 that is present over there in their blood. CD4 counts that are below 200, and then after AIDS defining symptoms, that is basically the predictive symptoms are present in these patients. Very late, that is below 50 CD4 counts. So it's basically the highlight over here. If you have CD4 count levels below 50, that is basically a very late presentation towards the clinics. The key points over here, what about the patients who once had CD4 less than 200? They have the CD4 counts now more than 500. They should continue with CD4 counts less than 200, but virally, are they suppressed? So this is basically a topic of research that is being carried out, whether the virus has been suppressed in such patients or not. The neuropsychiatric complications, minimal early course of illness is seen in such patients, develop after the onset of symptoms, and usually by death, probably more than 50% prevalence. So death is usually ensuing in more than 50% of the patients. And so this is one of the complications that is seen in such patients. So over here, we discuss the different symptomatologies and how are these symptomatologies or the development of AIDS related to the CCR5. That is again a protective factor that is seen in such patients. So that is the end of this section. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.